Hey besties, welcome or welcome back. Today we're going to decoupage. I know how much you guys have been wanting to see some decoupage videos, so here you go. I'm so excited. It's one of the easiest ways to craft. For this decoupage DIY, I've got some napkins from the Dollar Tree and some tissue paper from the Dollar Tree and a peace sign from Dollar Tree. Now I didn't use the green and white napkin for this. I'm going to use my white Rust-Oleum chalk paint and paint the whole thing because napkins lay better usually if they're on a white surface to make the color of the napkin pop. And I accidentally forgot to film the P, so I'm going to show you now. I put some Mod Podge on the letter I want to do, lay the piece of tissue paper or napkin or whatever it is I'm going to Mod Podge over the top. I'm going to use my brayer, which is a great tool. It's in my Amazon store if you are interested. And then I'm going to lay some Mod Podge back over the top of the E. And while it's very wet, I can push through like the little holes in letters and things like that. But it needs to be very wet to do that. And if it is very wet and you're careful, you can just pull it apart. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to take the chance, I'll show you another way here coming up soon. So I'm just going to make sure I've covered all the edges now and everything's laying down. Now I'm going to take a piece of masking tape and on the back of the other napkin, which just happens to be a 2-ply, I'm going to put that little piece of tape and it helps me separate the plies. You've always got to separate the plies or else the napkin will lift on whatever it is you're decoupaging and it looks awful. It's happened to me before. You don't want to do it. I'm going to cut my little piece, and now you can see how I did the black one, and I added another one of the tissue paper. Now this time I dried it completely with a heat tool, and when it's very dry, I can take a file or a little piece of sandpaper and just in a downward motion go around the edges, and it gives me a perfectly clean edge. That's another way of doing it without ripping it off when it's wet, and it just leaves it perfect. Isn't that great? Now I've got these little garland stems from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to bend a couple of pieces for the shape of that Christmas tree in the middle, which is the A. And I'm going to take my nippers and just clip off the end, and then I'm going to make another piece to go inside of that, and then I'll be left with just one straight piece right down the middle. I'm going to turn that A into the Christmas tree that it was intended to be, but using this make it look more real. I mean, as real as a garland stem can be, you know what I mean. I'm going to hot glue that down and just put all the pieces there. And I just love the combination of the decoupage and the garland. I think it looks super cool. Now I needed something else on that tree, so I've got this scatter foam and there's a cute little gold star. I'm just going to hot glue that to the very top of the tree. And I decided to leave this one just as it is. I could have decorated the tree a little bit. Also, I want to show you how I repair something. I accidentally ripped off too much of that C. So I took a little piece of that napkin, just put it right over the top with some of the Mod Podge, and then just pulled away the edges carefully and cleaned them up. And look at that, because it's such a busy pattern, you can just make a repair super easy and then cover it up with the Mod Podge again. And honestly, that's all there was to it. I think this one might be my favorite. You'll have to let me know what you think. I know I really love how it turned out. For this decoupage DIY, I've got this tissue paper again from the Dollar Tree. I've got 2 wood slices that came with a bunch of them from Amazon. I've got the big nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. And these are little baby ornaments I got at Walmart, and they were like 6 for $2.48. It was a great deal. I love these little ones. I'm going to cut off the little hangers from them because we won't be needing them. We're going to use them to embellish these 2 ornaments I'm going to make. And then I'm going to take my nippers and just clip right off the little hangers because we just don't need them. I just want them to look like little bulbs and not worry about it. And of course, the little reindeer didn't have anything like that. So I'm going to cut out a piece of this tissue paper that will fit both of these little wood slices. So I'm just going to trace each wood slice on there. And once I have those traced on there, I don't want to cover the entire wood slice because I love the way it looks. So what I'm going to do is just cut inside the line that I traced around it so I have a smaller piece. Now on these, I'm not going to put paint down first, and that way it'll go on much lighter, and you'll see the difference if you don't put white underneath. So I just put some of the Mod Podge on, very gently rubbed down. I mean, I could have used the brayer for this, but it was so small, I just used my fingers. And you see how faint that design is, and I like the way that is. I didn't want it to take away from the wood, just wanted a little bit of something, you know what I mean? So it's just super pretty. And I'll cover them with the Mod Podge. Now I'm going to hot glue the reindeer on one of them. And then I'm going to take those 3 little ornaments that say Joy, Peace, and Noel, and I'm just going to position them on there the way I like and hot glue them right on there. And I just think these are so pretty. It's like very, nature inspired, but also cutesy. So I'm going to take that nautical rope and I'm going to position it so there's a big loop on top and then some pieces hanging down below. And I'm going to cut another piece the same exact size. I'm going to use this for an embellishment and the hanger of the ornaments. So I'll put it together and hot glue that right onto the back of the wood slice. And I use a lot of hot glue, and I even go back and touch it up afterwards to make sure it's on there very, very good. Not that these are so heavy, but I just wanted to make sure they weren't going to go anywhere. And once that dries, what I'm going to do is start pulling out or unraveling the bottom of the rope. And if you have a little comb, that even works better. I didn't have one handy, so I just used my fingers. And I love that look, the top of it being tightly kind of woven together and then the bottom unraveled. I think that looks so cool. These are my other favorites. Let me know what you think. I just think it's such a nice, different look for ornaments, and I'm really loving them. I've got this set of coasters from Hobby Lobby, and they were $4.99, but with 40% off, they were a lot less, and that's a great way to get wood there. And then I'm going to use these two different napkins that I had in my stash, not sure where they're all from. And I'm going to sand the top of these so that they're nice and smooth. Then I'm going to take my masking tape, go on the back of this first napkin. Now this one is a 3-ply. So I'll put it on the back, it'll help me separate it. Then I'll take another little piece, put it on the back of that. It's a little tougher to get the third one off, but you can, and then it comes right off. This is literally the easiest way I've ever found to remove the plies with napkins. I used to spend so much time trying to pull them apart. I'm going to put a nice, generous coat of Mod Podge over the top of all 4 of these coasters and let it dry. This is another method for decoupaging I want to show you. Once it dries completely, I'm going to put a napkin that I cut out a piece over the top, put some parchment paper, and then I'm going to take, you can use a regular iron for this, I'm just using my little mini press, and go over the top for at least 3 minutes, moving it around the whole time. And when it's done, it's on there really good. So then I'm going to do that with all 4 of these coasters. Now that it's on there really well, what I'm going to do is take my sanding sponge and in a downward motion, just go around the edges very lightly. And once, because it's already, dry, this one is really fast to do. And look how nice and neat that comes off the edge. I love this method. If it's a very flat surface that you're using for decoupage, this works very well, honestly. I highly recommend doing this because then you're not really dealing with all the wetness of the decoupage. You just put it on there and let it dry. So I did that with all 4 of these coasters, and look how clean and nice that edge is. Now I am going to go over the top of them. I decided to use some polyacrylic because this is probably going to get wet. So I'm going to put that polyacrylic on there. I'm going to do 4 coats because I just want to make sure it really sinks right into that wood. And I love how these turned out. I probably should have used the darker ones over the ones that had little knots, but I didn't think of that. Anyway, let me know what you think. I love these little coasters. This is going to be a super easy decoupage project. These are trees I had already done tissue paper on several years ago. So I'm going to take my little sander and I'm just going to kind of sand them smooth on the top, get some of that like Mod Podge off that was there. And I'm going to sand the back as well. Now I'm going to paint both of those fronts with my white chalk paint. Now I don't want a perfect coat. I just want to get rid of the black. That way when I lay another kind of medium over it, it won't show. So there they are. And there is my tissue paper. I love that tissue paper. That's why I keep using it. Anyway, I'm going to cut out some pieces that will cover both of those trees. This is going to be a great project to do with littles. I think it's so easy. So I'm going to lay down some Mod Podge on top. This also would have been a good one to use with the iron, but I didn't happen to do that. So I'm going to start by putting a little Mod Podge on the top. With big pieces, I like to do it in sections so that it positions correctly. And then I use the brayer, go over the top and get out any wrinkles or bubbles, and it does work very well. See how I'm just doing that? Look how flat it gets from the brayer. Brayers are inexpensive and they are a must-have tool, at least in my craft room. I need that. I have them in different sizes too. I'm going to use a nail file. You can use a sanding sponge and just in a downward motion go around the edges the best I can and get off the rest of that tissue paper, and it does come off very easily. There they are. Then I'm going to add a top coat of the decoupage. You could use any kind of a clear glaze. Now I've got this garland of poinsettias that I got in a grab box from Michael's. I'm going to grab the glittery ones. I'm just going to get 2 of them, nip off the back, and hot glue it to the top of my trees. And I just think that's so pretty, the contrast with the white and silver with the red on top. And then I'm going to take 2 of my craft sticks, the large ones. I'm going to use my miter shears, which is a really nice cutting tool. You can cut in different angles on it without having a large power tool. And it's very easy on your hands to just close it and pull it tight and bam, it just snaps off. I'm going to make a point. And what I'm going to use these for is in either a plant or a little table centerpiece, just as an extra little piece. They would look really cute outside, especially if you seal both sides. I only sealed the one, so I'm going to keep them inside. I'm just going to copy the shape on the other one, hot glue them to the back. This is why I think it would be a fun craft for littles, is they could walk around and hold their little Christmas tree stick. I'm also going to take a walnut furniture marker, and I'm just going to color the craft stick. I just thought it looked better like a real trunk of a tree. Just go around the edges and the back too. That's it. I mean, I could have put these together so they're two-sided. There's a lot of things I could have done with this, but I wanted to keep it super simple just to give you some options if you want to do something fun with the littles in your life. Here is another super easy decoupage project. I've got a napkin, I think it was from Walmart, and a plastic cutting board I had from the Dollar Tree. I took the label off. I'm going to take my masking tape, open up the napkin that I have used before, obviously, and I'm going to pull apart the ply. It's just a 2-ply napkin, so that comes apart pretty easily. That masking tape is just a lifesaver. I just remember how much time I used to spend doing this, and I never have to anymore. So now I'm just going to cut out a piece that covers that center part of the cutting board. That's all I really want to do on this one. So I've got it, and then I need to trim it a little more. Now, I got to be honest with you, I just don't cut straight unless I measure really well, and you can see I did not measure. So it's a little lopsided, but that's okay. We're going to live with it because it's still going to be cute, and most people won't notice. I'm going to use the polyacrylic on this one since it's plastic, and I'm just going to lay down my napkin right what I thought was the center, which turned out not to be the center, and that's okay. And I'll just kind of put it down there. Then I'm going to take some saran wrap, and here's another tip for decoupaging. You put the saran wrap down over the wet decoupage napkin and then use the brayer. That way it doesn't come off and stick to your brayer. It's another nice tip, and if you're careful, it comes right off like that, and you don't have to worry about it. So now I'm going to add another layer of the polyacrylic, and I wanted this one to be kind of glossy, and I'd been using the matte Mod Podge before. So I've got this cute little piece that I had already put together on something, and I took it off, but it's a little too big for this cutting board, so I'm going to snip off the top part of that. And now I think it's just the perfect size. It was some poinsettias, some little pics, and some little ornaments. And then I added those 2 pieces I cut off to the top, and I love it. What a cute little easy decor piece for your kitchen. Let me know what you think. That is it for today. You will have to let me know which one was your favorite. I've got another video on the screen that I think you'll really like. And if you click on it, I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.